This conversation is going to be between you and me. They can be voyeurs and overhear what I have to say. Because when I thought of how I could talk to the group and write something, I couldn't do that. But to speak with you, I knew I could do that. Because like your poetry, you're accessible, you're simply passionate, and your poetry is very sensual for all of us. And when I was thinking about what to write today, Pablo Neruda's Toward the Splendid City, his acceptance speech for the Nobel Prize immediately came to mind. And so, I think he would allow me to change the gender of it a little bit, to go from the and I want to talk about you and me. The poet is not a little goddess. No, she's not a little goddess. She is not picked out by mystical destiny, although we think you have been, in preference to those who follow other crafts and professions. I have often maintained that the best poet is the one who prepares our daily bread, the nearest baker who does not imagine himself or herself to be a god or goddess. They do their majestic and unpretentious work kneading the dough, consigning it to the oven, baking it golden colors, and handing us our daily bread as a duty of fellowship, as you so lovingly did for Aaron. And if the poet, like you did, succeeds in achieving this simple consciousness, this too will be transformed into an element in an immense activity, because you have touched us all, in a simple or complicated structure which constitutes the building of a community, the changing of the conditions which surround mankind, the handing over of mankind's products, you as poet, bread, truth, wine, and dreams. And so I've selected passages from your work rather than anything I could write to share with you some of the bread, the truth, the wine, and the dreams that you have given us. I love the opening of Village Requiem because it's strong. And I share this with all of you because I want you all to go out there and get some of her books and read them and know that her poetry is so deliciously accessible. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to reread you and get to know you even better through your poetry. Village Requiem, like an oak, he was more visible than the forest of other men, knottier, wide, umbrellaed. A woman of fierce hungers. My grandmother said her parents proved they didn't love her when they named her Martha. Unstuck in time. And I'm reading to you the beginnings of poems just to show you how easy it is to just walk right into them and share your life with her poetry. Unstuck in time. Incredible imagery in here. I remember, she said, how it felt to die. I was a caught fish, and a great hand tore out a hook deep from inside me. Period piece. I believe this was like the beginning of the new year. I blow out my lamp to shiver a while at the window. Darkness blows out the stars, and the wheeling earth blows out the year, which leans out of this century and clumsily toward the next. The surreptitious DNA. I placed the bulbs in the same row, spaced well apart, like the years that separate siblings. Rain blesses their pale shoots equally. Identical leaves lift to the sun. I love the way you started with tulips and immediately made a connection to how we are spaced out in growth between our siblings. That's what I love about her work. She'll take something as simple as planting tulips and bring us into the lifespan of our lives. At the solstice, 0 tonight and falling. A dog's staccato bark chips at cold like an ice pick. Inside, the round heater inhales chunks of maple, exhales red warmth. For the short trip to the barn, he bundles heavily, accepting the cold as a given. A charm to learn to relinquish, and this is the whole poem. I love this because you take something as delicate and tiny as a sparrow, and you give us a beautiful lesson. The poem just leaps, and I love that about your work. Sparrow. You flurry this empty ground under a barren juniper. Daily, November through March. In our peck and die world, every wing beat demands dedication to survival. I, too, scratched futile dust, denying all evidence, risking starvation. And I warn you, sparrow, nothing comes of it. September, migratory primer. And I love this because I see the humanity in these geese getting ready to fly. Some clue to temperature or fading light warns them to flee or die, and into air immense and mapless, flocks live fugitive from frost. They gather stoical before their flight, and no bird sings as if they dare this journey as a last alternative. They fly by instinct, but as if they know the unfathomable odds. How foul and fair may tire, may crumble their diminutive frail wings. How they've no promise. If they go, they live. If they go, they live. Entries from a journal. I love the excitement of this. The doves. The doves are back. Having returned myself, having returned to Forsythia and wild plum lightening the air, having returned from the gaudy south to which I pledge no allegiance, I join with crocus in an icy fringe of melting. To lie down lean, and this is my favorite, because in it I see you as the poetess. To lie down lean, like the fox, his burrow. I pull my walls around me, hoarding what light, what salvaged warmth glows inside. Like the pumas circling familiar spaces, I snip out comfortable boundaries, securing my sense and sounds. And like the beaver, his water-guarded house provisioned against the deep siege, I expand my uncertainties. But first, like the warrened hare, I test my secret exit. The midnight knock, the battered door, the ripped and sinister scream will never pin me. My intruder will stare at emptiness and find me and my freedom gone. And in closing, in open doors, you write, after watching 3 boys on wheels pushing their ride to the edge of safety and risking break to stop at the stop sign with their bikes and skateboards, you write, I wish I knew how to let go like that, to let the rushing life take over. Well, the rushing life comes through in your poetry. And you have, dear poet, sharing with us bread, truth, wine, and dreams. Lois, as you awaken tomorrow to another turning and rotation around the sun, whether you see chariots pulling red and yellow sky, or you see the scientific turning of our planet towards the sun, take the time to sip the morning and await the sparks that will inspire you to pick up your pen and write the words that bring us bread. You bring us bread to nurture our minds, truth to wing breath to our spirit, wine to ease the pecking stress of daily living, and dreams to nourish our common bonds as brothers and sisters in our turn with you around the sun, because you too will take part with us in the sweat, in the bread, in the wine, in the whole dream of humanity. Lois, we praise and thank you.